time, son. I'm a survivor. I will survive. I will survive. And I'm a firm believer. We'll forever shine just to stay alive. That simple means it. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can drain my energy. Nobody can tell me sick. I will let alone negativity. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can drain my energy. Nobody can. Nobody can. Everybody show me some strength. No weakness. Show me a lion power. Strength. No weakness. Show them who we are. Strength. No weakness. Show me a lion power. Everybody strength. No weakness. Show them who we are. Not when you're your enemies, they must tremble. Your enemies, they must tremble. Yo, not when you're everything has to humble. Everything has to humble. I'm a go-getter. I just go hard. I just go hard. And I'm a kind of fella. Put my trust in God. Put my trust in God. That simple means say nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can drain my energy. Nobody can turn me sick. I will not allow negativity. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can drain my energy. Nobody can. Nobody can. Yo. On this battlefield, you are tougher and still. Shoulders to the wheel, you are tougher and still. On this battlefield. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the ride. Welcome to all right. Welcome to Thursday on the ride, guys. I know my audio was kind of hot. My audio is kind of hot. Audio should be fine now. It's Thursday. Thursday happened to be one of my best days, by the way. Absolutely the best. So as you come in, guys, share up the thing, and say, I share, man. Let me tell you, we have one very touching, emotional story for you guys today. You know, on Thursdays, we have this program called What's Pissing Me Off, right? But I had to tweak it today. Because this story, initially, I saw it on with our sister station across there. You guys see him on the ride along as well, Unstoppable. And that was such a moving experience, just watching and hearing this lady's story. I basically stalked her for a bit because I wanted to bring her on to here and get our audience, the ride along audience, at an opportunity, an opportunity to chime in on this particular story here today. So my guest, I don't know if you guys was paying attention for the duration of the day. My guest, she's gonna talk about this situation, this situation. Now, her biological father, right, beat her with a hammer when she was about 10 years old, 10 years old. Now she's paralyzed. One side of her body, right side. And she is dealing with this. Sad thing about it is, the worst part about this is, up to a day like today, the father has shown very little or no remorse for the actions, for the things that he did. So go ahead and share the program right now, guys. Share the program. Everybody share. Lydia, I see you. Thank you so much for sharing. Let me share as well on my page. Share. Let me share. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Yes.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Thank you so much. Veronica, how are you doing? Thank you so much. Leslie Ann. Big up yourself, Leslie Ann. Veronica, I see you. Estelyn McIntosh, thank you so much. Everybody share. Look, well, listen, I'm only going to start when I see sufficient people share. I'm only going to start when I see sufficient people share. Because I want you guys to hear this. And I want you guys to give us some advice too. So when we open up the phone lines, I want you guys to call in and impart some of your advice. Some of your advice to my guests. All right. So when everybody share, and I'm comfortable enough that everybody share, we are going to start. Genevieve Gita, how you doing? Big up yourself, Genevieve Gita. Who else we have? Wendy Charles, thank you so much for sharing. Hey, how you doing? Wolfgang Rockefeller, thank you so much for sharing as well. Brett Verdant, thank you so much. Just I share, guys, and the folks that's watching on YouTube, big up the folks that's watching on YouTube. Thank you so much, YouTube. Share it on a page because we're going to start. Veronica, how you doing? Pearl George, thank you so much, Pearl. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Before I bring in my guest, I want to show you guys this, right? This is a caption that we posted earlier this week, right? We posted this earlier this week. Someone sent me this Dear Riders, and of course, you guys could submit your Dear Riders. If you have a question or you have, you want some advice, you could always write in to us at ridealongtv@gmail.com. And just title it Dear Riders. So this person sent in this earlier this week. They say that, and again, this is unrelated to the topic, but I wanna touch on this very briefly. This person said that is having intercourse 4 or 5 times in one night a good or a bad thing. She said that her boyfriend is an addict, and she's suffering from PCOS. So it hurts a lot, but she don't want to tell him no. And this young lady is frustrated, has been frustrated, and she don't know how to talk to the guy. She don't know how to tell him that she's in pain. And the worst part about it for her, she's saying that the guy is an addict. So that's where she is right now. What should she do? Now, we posted this and we got an overwhelming amount of response, right? Some people said, funny enough, some people responded and say, just tell him. Hey, I can't. This is painful. The reason why she doesn't want to tell him is because I'm figuring that she figure if she cannot provide for him in that way, he might then want to leave the relationship or go with someone else. So someone said in the post that she should just take it. It can't be that bad. Someone posted and said, the pain can't be that bad that you can't have it. Right? I mean, there was a lot of response. I want to get your guys' take on this. Before we move on, it's important. I want to get your guys' take on this. She is in a situation where she cannot. It's painful for her. She's suffering from a particular ailment, and her husband is her boyfriend, just wants it all the time because he's an addict. What should she do? What should she do in this situation? All right. What should she do in this situation? Should she tell him and risk losing the relationship? Should she try to deal with it? Should she? Well, that's the only thing, is that she tell him or she don't tell him, right? Glenda, say, well, just tell him. Just tell him, right? Just tell him. I personally think, even if she don't want to tell him, she should just go to a counselor. And go to a counselor, someone that they could intermediary in the middle and speak, and let him understand what's really going on here. because he probably doesn't understand, and he probably feel that with all the noise that she's making, let me tell you, the guy actually probably feel with all that noise that she's making that she actually likes it, because she is not coming out and expressing herself in those ways. So sure, she can get another man. Hillary is saying yes, she could get another man. Yeah, some people, she is in this situation right now. So listen, definitely tell him. She should definitely tell him. But if she's scared of telling him personally, she probably should bring him into some kind of counseling, in a meeting, sit down with somebody and express it to him that way, so he could kind of understand. Because if he's gonna cheat on her, if he's gonna go out on her, he's gonna do it regardless. He's gonna do it regardless. So she cannot be scared and risk her own health. She's actually risking her own health, because you never know how bad it is affecting her in the long term. Yeah. So the overwhelming, just tell him and try to make him understand the pain you feel can be detrimental to your body later. I agree. I agree. I agree. So if you're watching the program here, my friend, we believe that you should go right ahead and talk to the man and tell him what's going on with you. I agree. All right, great advice. You see, when you come, when you post on the Dear Riders, you get the best advice. Yeah? You get the absolute best advice. All right, so let's bring in my next guest. My next guest, again, she appeared on Unstoppable, our sister station over there, with a story what happened to her. Her father beat her so bad that she's now paralyzed, and she's on the line with us right now. Jane, are you there? Could you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Jane, I gotta welcome you to the program.
Thank you.
And I must say that you are strong for taking it this far. And I'm sorry that if regurgitating this information brings back really terrible feeling, but I think that it it might be therapeutic for you as well. It could be therapeutic for you as well. And I just remember seeing part of that story, and I was almost literally in tears hearing what transpired for you. So if you don't mind, Jane, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I'll sit back a little bit and hear your story.
Well, my father and mother are Jamaicans, and I was born here, and I have three siblings, and we lived in Jersey,
Right.
and for about 6 years. But before we left Jersey, my father had a good job, a very good job. But then he started drinking, and he had to leave that job because his boss said he couldn't work there no more if he started drinking, if he continued drinking. So he just, he was inside the house and just mopey and grumpy and everything, and he smoked his little, what they smoke.
Right,
So,
right, yes.
and he would listen to his music and everything. And my mother will go out there and provide for the four of us and everything. So he will physically and mentally, abuse my mother. Um and there was a time I went downstairs to get something to drink, and I saw my father literally, he was on top of my mother beating her, and I didn't know what to do. I was just frozen. And then I ran back upstairs, and Then um like my mother, like I said, my mother had to provide for us and everything. My mother had to, because he wouldn't do nothing.
Right.
My mother had to go out and get food and everything for us. He he wouldn't do nothing. Oh God, I'm starting to get teary eyed already.
Yeah, I know.
Um, and then there was this one time when the 6 years we stayed in Jersey for 6 years, and then we finally moved into this big beautiful house,
Right.
right? And my father wasn't working at all. My mother was working. So all he would do was just look around the house, and just with a mopey face and everything. And then I had some family that had came from England, um and they had rented a room from us because it was a big house.
Right.
So my father never liked um his nephew's girlfriend. He will always, you know, pick things, do things and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So one day, me and her had went to the store because she was getting something to eat. So um we had came back, and then my father said, where'd you go? So I
Mm-hmm.
said, oh, I just went to the store with so and so. So he said, oh, he said, you're not supposed to go anywhere. I said, what? And then he took, I don't know if you know them those heels that men used to wear back in the 70s or 60s or whatever.
Uh-huh. Those long
And
with long shoes.
yeah, he
Uh-huh.
took that and beat the mess out of me. And I couldn't believe it. And then the girl was screaming and screaming. She said, why are you doing that to her? Why are you doing that to her? Well, stop, stop, stop. And then he wouldn't stop. And then she went out and called the cops because we didn't have the phone.
So let me ask you a question. Did your father, was he a drinker? What was his triggers?
Yes, he was an alcoholic. Yes, because he
Oh,
couldn't get no job. He couldn't get no job. Whatever he did, he couldn't get no job. You know, I mean, he was smart, very, very smart, very intelligent, but
right.
the alcohol just got in the way. The alcohol just got in the way, you know. So she called the cops, and the cops came, and they said, you have to listen to your father. You shouldn't have went out without his permission.
Right.
Um, the girl said, we just went to the store and just came back, and it was that a crime? So the cop looked at her, and he said no, that's not a crime, but she must respect her father and listen to her father. And we were like, we couldn't understand that. So that was that. And then God, one day, um before before I started school up there,
Mm-hmm.
me and my brother had to go get our shots, right?
Mm-hmm. And we're
And
talking about like around what age?
about I was about 8.
Okay.
I was about 8. We had to
Okay.
go get our shots. You know, so I guess we were taking too long, so he left us, and I was an hour away from the house.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to walk. Me and my brother had to walk. So I got tired, and my brother literally carried me on his back. So, you know, then oh, what else?
So all in all, he was just very abusive, both to you
Yeah,
guys,
he
to
he
your
was
mom.
abuse he was abusive, but he wasn't. Um, I was surprised
Uh-huh.
for that beating, because I never got beaten before. Never.
Right.
I never got beaten before. So I was very surprised at that, because I was like the princess.
Okay.
Um, so
But he
um,
was abusive to your mom. He was abusive to other family members. He was
yes, yes,
consistent.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Like when my grandmother will come to the house,
Uh-huh.
um, he will look out the window and don't even let her inside the house. That's my mother's mother.
Right.
Wouldn't even let her inside the house. My grandmother had to wait until my mother came home, and and she said, she will say, you've been out here all this time. She said, yes. I don't think there's nobody home. Then she opened up the door, and long and behold, my father was sitting right there.
Right. Oh, I see.
She said, why didn't you let my mother inside the house? See, the whole thing is jealousy. They didn't like my mother around her family.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted my mother all to themselves. They wanted they There was at one point where my father and his mother were talking, and they wanted to move to Florida, because my
Right.
mother overheard them, and they said this way, her siblings wouldn't be able to come visit her so often like they do now. They want, to seclude her from,
Right.
from her side of the family, because, they didn't want to have, you know, jealousy. It was just jealousy,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, um, then, okay, this morning now, okay,
Right.
I was 10. I was 10. Okay. I came out my room, set the bathtub, and my father had called me. I said, yes, Daddy. He said, where's your mother? I said, I don't know, Daddy. Then he asked me that about 4 times. I said the same old thing. I said, I don't know, Daddy. Then I walked outside the room, ready to walk outside the room. And all I can feel was a big blow. Boom, bloop, bloop. And then my brother ran downstairs, and he said, what'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? He said, oh my God, oh my God, oh my
Uh,
God. Then um, I, I assumed he walked over me,
right.
because he went to go call my mother. And he told my mother, I just killed your daughter. So
Pause
that,
it for a quick second. Pause it for a quick second, right? From what you could remember from that incident, and guys, let me go back a little bit. We're talking here with Jane, and Jane just sharing this very emotional story of what happened to her at the age of 10, right?
mhm,
Um, Her father, who she described as a very somewhat abusive person, especially when he drank. He was addicted. He was an addict, right?
yeah,
And she witnessed him, beat her mother before, He was just that kind of person. On this particular day,
Mm-hmm.
he questioned you about your mom, and you
Mm-hmm.
responded.
He
And
was
right
he was
after that, you just felt a hit, or you just heard a large thump.
yeah. Yes.
Do you remember him being drunk while he was asking you these questions? Do you remember
No, he was not drunk.
he wasn't drunk? So he
No.
was he was his real self. He was conscious.
Yes.
He wasn't
Yes.
okay. Wow. So what did you okay, just go ahead from there. So you heard the thump, your brother came downstairs, and then he called your mom on the phone and said he killed
I just killed the
daughter.
dog. So my mother was she was in her in she was in the beauty parlor, and she just dropped the phone, and um they had to like slap her up, and stuff.
Right,
And um she tried to kill herself. And um then the cops came. Of course, they arrested him, and everything. And I was in hospital for a whole year. um I didn't know what had happened to me. I did not know, because I was in a coma for like 3 months. And um so the nurses told my family, do not tell her what happened, because she will go into shock, and you know it will be hard for us to revive her or
right,
whatever. So one I think one nurse that was working there, she was new. I do believe she was new. And she came and told me what had happened, because I was like, no, first of all, I couldn't talk. I was trying to move my arm.
right.
So she shook her head and she said, no, no. I was like, you know, talking like sign language or whatever.
Right.
And she said, she pointed to my head, and tears just came out my eyes. And she still, she didn't say who, but um she then finally uh, finally it started coming back to me. It was coming. It was coming back to me. I was a very strong person,
Right.
very very strong. So it started coming back, and I was like, why me? What did I do? I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. Nothing. I was like, why me? I'm sorry.
No problem. Jen, if you need to take a break, we could do that. Um, let me just say a little bit again, guys. This is still a traumatic experience, as you could well imagine. What happened to her? Um, and it, as you could imagine as well, is still playing in her mind. It is still very fresh, um, and it's hard for her to share the story, as you well could imagine. Um, Jen, do you want to take a break for a bit?
I had to learn how to I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to talk. obviously I used to use my right hand, but I had to learn how to use my left hand. I but I can't even use my I can write with my left hand, but only print. I can't do script or nothing. I don't know how to do script. I don't know how to do that. It's hard for me.
So you later found out, Jane, that your father, because you didn't know what hit you, you didn't know
No,
what that thump was about. You later
no,
found out that he was actually hitting you about your body with a hammer.
yeah, yeah. Mm. And all I said was, "Why me? I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. Just because I didn't know. Just because I didn't know where my mother was, he beat me. Just because, just because of that." I couldn't answer. That's what I got.
Yeah. Um, talk to us about your
Excuse me.
recovery process and being in the hospital, and when you got back consciousness and you could have really understand and that the road ahead. And when did you actually know that what had happened to you would now had now paralyzed you?
I was, I was devastated. All I could do was just shake my head. So I didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve it at all.
Hmm.
I just didn't deserve it. Uh,
All right. You want to take a break, Jane? You want to take a little break for a bit? Just take a little break for a little breather for a bit. Um, Let me try to see if I could um, just get some strength from some of our viewers. Again, this happened to her when she was 10, but that is affecting her even now. This situation is a very painful one for her to just speak about it to relieve the experience. And what's even worse that we're going to find out later is that there seemed to be little or absolutely no remorse from the person who actually caused this to her. Very little or zero remorse. We can also talk about forgiveness and hearing what you just heard, understanding what she just said, and the lifetime um, trauma for her, both emotionally, physically, the lifetime trauma. Is it any way that she could move forward by forgiving? We go talk a little bit more about that. But if you guys want to call in real quick, you could do that. Send your hugs and to her the number 718-701-5720. Let's give her a breather for a bit. Um, Christine Sylvester is saying very sad. She is a very strong woman. God sees your tears. Nothing is impossible with God. He is a miracle worker. Trust in Him. Nicole, Steele says, hello everyone. How is she? I appreciate she is getting therapy. She needs therapy. Yes, I agree. Let me go on the phone lines and see if this call. Caller, are you calling for the program?
Yeah, I'm calling for the program.
Go right ahead, caller.
All right. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. In regards to Jane, it's a sad situation what's going through right now in regards to her getting hit with the hammer. But I was wondering, do you feel like you're a predator exploiting her for views and stuff? Even when she's crying, you say like you want it to stop, but it's like blam sham. It doesn't feel genuine coming from you.
Okay, it doesn't feel genuine coming from me.
It doesn't sound genuine. I cannot feel like you genuinely care. Okay. I feel like you feel like you're devouring the flesh of someone who's vulnerable, and you may think that we will see through. Okay. And you're putting it up. You're like blam sham, like you care, because I cannot see empathy on your face or any form of care on you. Like you're like
okay,
crazy with the views.
All right. So let me. I believe that you haven't been watching the program for a very long time.
I've been watching the program.
Okay, so Ride Along is the platform that provide assistance to persons in her situation.
I feel like you're a vulture.
Okay, I get your point, and again, that's how you feel about it, right? But I appreciate your point of view.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let me just say this, that Jane wanted to come on the program to share her story because of how therapeutic it might be for her by sharing her story. All right. I want everyone to understand that very clearly. And Jane, at any point in time, if you want to stop, you in full control. All right. So if you want to stop right here, we could stop. If you want to, that's completely up to you. But I understand by sharing this, and this is not the first platform that you've been on. So I want you, if you could explain it a little bit, why you think that is necessary that you share and you come out and you speak like this.
Because I held it in for so many years. So many years. I never talked to nobody about it. But
Right.
Unstoppable and you.
Right.
Those are only two people.
And why did you feel like you wanted to come out? Why did you feel like you wanted to speak? Your decision.
Because I hear other people talk about, what they went through, and to see if I can, get, remorse, if I can just get a relief, get
Right.
some kind of relief, relief off my back.
Right.
It's like a big thing that I have on my back, and I just can't get it off.
Right.
Now I feel, because I had told Unstoppable, I feel like I got a mountain off my shoulders.
Yes.
By talking.
And I'm sure that Unstoppable expressed the same sentiments that I'm expressing to you right now. In a lot of these instances, it's important to just talk. Keeping it in is keeping in this hard rock inside of you that you just really need to get out.
Yes.
So contrary to, if people think that it's exploitation, I don't see how it's exploitation if someone is putting themselves out to share their story. And I think it's important. And I applaud you for gaining that strength to come out and do that. And I appreciate you sharing it on Unstoppable again. Unstoppable is a family friend, of the ride. And I applaud you for doing that. Right? So let's move on. Being in therapy, going through the process, how was recovery?
Recovery, it was difficult, because like I said, I had to learn how to walk because I couldn't walk before. I forgot how to walk.
Right.
I couldn't talk. I had to learn how to talk, and um, it's 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 okay. Okay.
How
You know,
how has your relationship and that was the most I guess striking part of the whole of your story. Has your father come or called you or over the years expressed any kind of
no, no,
empathy,
no,
remorse?
no,
None.
no. I spoke to him last month. I I called him for his birthday. I don't know if I'm wrong or what. I called him for his birthday, and to tell you the truth, he didn't even know it was his birthday. You know, I mean, he has family. He has family down there, but he secludes himself from his family, and um, he's just like, he's not like, he is a hermit. He just keeps to himself. He has just one room. He just keeps to himself. That's all.
I guess the big question is why did you have to call him and why haven't
I
he
I,
called you? And why did you feel the need to contact him
I
after
don't. You
he
know.
did all that to you?
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I guess I because my son's birthday is November 11th, and his birthday is November 9th. So I said, let me give him a call. I don't know. I really don't know, because I asked Unstoppable. I said, you think I was wrong in calling him? So he gave his honest opinion and everything. So I listened. I listened to the viewers, the comments, So I was, I sat and listened, sat and thought about it, and I said, you know what, they're right. You know, they're right. I shouldn't have to reach out to him. He's the one that did that to. He's the one that did this to me. You know,
Yes.
he
But
he
but
should
did you
reach
feel
out to
did you
me.
feel did you feel somehow because I share a little story with you, right? A few I think it was 2 years ago, we had a guest on the program and her son was brutally murdered on the street. And he was basically left dead like a dog on the street.
Oh God.
The guy shot him up quite a few times. And she came on here and she shared her story. And one thing that she said to me was during the trial, she sat right next facing him and she was giving her impact statement. And she said to him, I forgive you. And I was like, what did you, how did you come to that point where you could forgive him? She said, Junior, the only how I could have moved forward with myself and my life was the only how I could get closure was if I forgive him for what he did to my son. And she said the minute time she forgave him, she almost felt like she got closure. Yes, her son is dead, and he'll never come back. But that big rock she had on her chest,
Mm-hmm.
she get it out by forgiving him, and she could have moved on. Was there, when you called him, when you contacted him, did you feel like you needed some closure from him, or you needed to express something in particular to him?
No, not really. No. You know, you um, I I wanted him to say, um, you know what? I'm so sorry for what I did to you.
Right.
You know, if I can turn back the hands of time, I will turn it back. And, you know, I just regret it. But those words never came out of his mouth. They didn't. No, they
Not
didn't.
even, not even a recognition, not
Not
even an
even a,
apology, not
not
even a
even sorry.
sorry, nothing.
All he said was um I don't know if it's the same thing, but I wanted it to be um what happened to you. Um he wish he can turn back the hands of time. I don't know if it's the same thing, but I want him to say, you know, what happened to you. I wish,
That
I
that's not an apology.
yeah,
Saying I wish I could turn back the hands of time is
yeah,
saying I wish I could turn back the hands of time.
yeah,
Apology starts with, you know, um, really feeling genuine about you're sorry about what transpired, and you express that not just in your words but in your deeds.
yes,
So obviously he's not sorry based on if he just said he wish he could turn back the hands of time. But I still believe that forgiveness is not for him.
mm-hmm,
I think forgiveness is for you. I think you need to move on. I and that's just me. And based on this story that I told you that I had before with this lady who expressed similar sentiments, and how she was able to boldly just say, I'm sorry, or I forgive this person, so she could move on. I'm not sure if it's possibly the same thing. You need to move on. You need to get past this. Not to say that he's going to accompany you into the future. I'm not saying that you need to rekindle those fatherly, daughterly moments with him
mm-hmm,
again. Uh, but for you to move on and you to move past this,
mm-hmm,
I think that somehow you have to find a way. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're feeling this, find a way to see how you could forgive and move on. Because some people just don't need to be in your life. He's your father, yes, your biological father, but that don't mean that
mm-hmm,
he'll come for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That don't mean that he's gonna come for Christmas. You forgive and you move on. And
mm-hmm.
probably that's what you need. Let me see what if anyone watching have any advice. So what
I wanted to get, I
eh?
think, wanted to get married, you know, yeah, just, that, like my sister, she had the big fancy wedding, and, I was there, and, I just thinking that it was me, I wanted that, but you can't have it.
Right. You didn't come true. Not at all. Not up. Not even a day like today. It just. It just. He don't have it inside of him. And you know what? I don't think that he will ever come to that realization. He's just not the kind of person that he is. He's just not. If it took him this long and he still don't feel any remorse or empathy, I don't think that 5 years is going to change him. He's already, that's who he is. That's who he is. But I think that you just need to, and that's just my personal opinion. Again, I could be wrong, but I just think that you just need to just move forward. Move forward. Jackie is saying that his pride is keeping him from saying sorry. You're beautiful, and God will take care of you. And I firmly believe that. I believe that um, you are blessed, and you will be blessed. You know, you have a purpose, a very unique purpose, and that doesn't include him in your life. See, we have, he doesn't know how to apologize as well. What ultimately, Jane, ultimately, what would you, if he was watching this program right now, he's watching from wherever he is, what would you want to say to him? Like if he was just standing there and you talking to him, what you want to tell him, really from your heart?
Really from my heart. Why'd you do this to me? I didn't do nothing to you. I love you. Why? You know, just why? Just, that's all. Why?
Yeah. All right. So tell you what. What about have you gotten any kind of therapy or anything, Jane?
No.
Well, I think
I
that
can remember. No.
I still think that it has gone so far, it's years gone, and this is something that you never really dealt with. So we are willing to help you to get that therapy that you need. I think that we are going to help you if you are willing to do it. We are going to help you financially to get that therapy, so that you could just move forward. Because this is a burden on you. This is hard on your chest, and I firmly believe that moving forward, just continuing with the great life that you have ahead, you would need some intervention at this point in time. So we are willing to help you financially to do that. If you want to do it, we'll help you. All right, would that be okay with you?
Yes.
All right, all right. So let's let's stop it at this point. And we'll conduct or everything else off air. We'll help you to get past that. Hopefully, you get past that point right here. But I'm very happy that you decided to share this story. This is the first step in moving forward. This is the first step in forgiveness, in getting your whole self back together, getting your whole vibe back together. But I think it's the right step. So we're going to help you get to the next step, which is the next level. All right. And we really appreciate you even coming out and sharing. Big up the Unstoppable
Thank you.
family. Big up everyone who was involved in ensuring that they got you here so you could start the process of moving forward. We appreciate you so much, Jane, and we're going to talk more off
Thank you
air.
so much.
All right. We appreciate you. We'll keep in touch.
Yeah. You gotta be
All right.
You gotta be strong in this time, son.
Yeah, Jane has a lot of work ahead, guys. Well, let me fix this thing real quick. Let me fix this here. Yeah, so Jane has a lot of work ahead, guys. She has a lot of work ahead. But as they say, right? The journey to the top of the mountain starts with the first step. So Jane started to take baby steps into overcoming this. This is traumatic. This is heartbreaking. It's everything that's bad. Searching for answers like why me and why this had to happen to me and my life is this and my life could have been like this and all of these questions. And listen, half of us here couldn't deal with it as good as how Jane is dealing with it. She decided to speak. And again, that is the first step of recovery. And this is why programs like this, platforms like this exist. So people could share their stories. Everyone have a story to tell, right? We are gonna assist Jane to get into the next level, because this is a hurdle. This is not a 100-meter dash either. This is more like a 1500 meter. This is a long journey for her. It has been a long journey and it's going to be more of a longer journey ahead. But she start the journey. She start the steps. She start the movements. And if she didn't start it, nobody would have started for her. If she didn't speak, nobody could tell her story. Nobody could have be made aware of what she went through and what she currently going through. That's her story to tell. And she shared that story. And we thank her for sharing that story. But from here again, full step ahead, we promise, because of the support, the endless support that we get from our ride-along viewers, our ride-along supporters, because of what you guys do when you share the program and when you are part of this ecosystem that we call ride-along support group. We use all our resources to help in times of need like this, and that's what we're going to do to help her get to the next level, to the next part, to the next step of that mountain. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being a part of our program today. We appreciate you. A very sad one today. Very sad one today, as everyone is sad. Every story is sad. Everyone is personal. But we're going to help her through with your support. Thank you again, guys, for watching. Thanks for supporting. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace out. Good night.
Time, son. I'm a survivor. I will survive.
Get your PCR test in 30 minutes or less. Visit www.allprolab.com.
David Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3833.
Welcome to TD Bank, where you'll find the personalized attention you deserve and the legendary experience you expect. Let's do business. If you are a medical or dental practitioner, contact me to hear about our tailored lending solutions for residential mortgages, equipment purchases, practice-related commercial mortgages and refinance. Visit me at 500 Baychester Avenue to hear more about our full range of personal and small business banking solutions. See you soon.